Hey guys, Thomas Busby here again, and in quite a few of my videos I get questions asking about the X-Photographer program that I'm a part of. And so to answer all those questions in one video, I thought I'd put out a bit of a Q&A on my YouTube channel, my Instagram page, asking you guys what kind of questions you'd like answers to, and in this video, we're answering them. Now, I think from a lot of these questions, I really need to preempt this by saying I'm pretty sure that every country is going to be different. I don't know if Fujifilm Japan have too much of an say for each different country, but in New Zealand it seems like it's very much on that I'm just dealing with Fujifilm New Zealand, so Fujifilm Australia, Fujifilm Germany, US, etc. I imagine they're all a little bit more independent in the way they select them. I haven't heard this officially from Fujifilm, but I've been with them for maybe 4 or 5 years as an ambassador, and in that time I've heard quite a lot of behind the scenes kind of conversations. And like I said, while this isn't official, I'm pretty sure they look for a diverse range, as in landscape photographers, portrait photographers, sport, wildlife, wedding, video. They want that different selection, and there are quite a few different requirements that I think also come into that. But if you live in a country and all the X-photographers are all landscape photographers and you're also a landscape photographer, you're probably going to struggle to get into that system with them because it's pretty saturated already. In what order did they assign to my assets, e.g. established social media presence, photographic skills, established brand presence in the industry? So that's a bit of an interesting one, because I think they'll actually look at anyone's strengths and see once again what kind of areas they feel they're missing. So as a kind of more of an answer to that, especially at the time and even so now compared to most other photographers, my social media presence is very, very low, very much on the weak end. And I know that Fujifilm New Zealand do give quite a lot of credit, a lot of presence towards that. However, I was doing a lot of presentations. I feel like I'm quite a personal person. I can talk to people quite easily, and my technical knowledge from being in the sales area was very, very confident as well. When it came to those weird curveball questions, I'd kind of dealt with a lot of it, and because I used the gear in a professional sense for my own photographic work, I feel like I had a lot of answers to everything. Plus I had photos to show that were taken with those cameras, so it was more about my presentation and my workshop skill, I think, rather than my social media skill. Obviously, the way you represent the company is important as well. I think if you, how could you describe that? If you're an antisocial person but a good photographer, I think you might actually struggle to become an ex-ambassador. You need to definitely have that way to talk and convey the message. Did I go looking for it, or did they come looking for me? It was kind of 50-50. I was definitely making those little bits of a hint that I'd like to become one, but I wasn't expecting it to happen. So initially I was still shooting with an SLR, and then I borrowed some Fujifilm gear. I borrowed all gear, like from every different brand, because I was trying to find a smaller, lighter system. This is kind of in the early days of mirrorless technology, and loved the Fuji X-E1, I think is what I've borrowed to start with, and I really fell in love with it. And so I brought an XM1 plus like a 10-24 and started shooting more and more with it. I wasn't getting paid to, I wasn't trying to earn any form of ambassadorship. I just did it because I loved it, and then eventually sold all my DSLR gear and brought the full Fuji system because I loved it, because I believed in it, and I started trying to convince other people to do it purely because I believed it was the right thing to do. So I think that little bit of a journey at the time when SLR to mirrorless was trying to make that transition, and I had done it and had the story of how it worked for me by choice, was the kind of story they wanted me to share. So while I was doing it because I believed in it, they kind of both happened at the same time as far as who found me and I found them, if that makes sense. What's my favorite lens? Favorite lens? See, I love the 50-140. It's probably made me more money than any other lens. I love the 16mm f1.4. That is stunning. And the 56 1.2. So if I had to pick up one of those three lenses, that's probably the dream kit for me, to be honest. 56 1.2, 16 1.4, and 50-140. And I only own one of those lenses, but I've used the others a lot. But if I had a favorite, it'd probably be the 16 1.4. I think that might be maybe the best lens in the world. What are my responsibilities to Fujifilm, as in what's in it for them? Responsibilities. Well, it's actually, here in New Zealand, it's a pretty casual kind of friendly relationship. I guess a big part of it is I get to borrow a lot of gear. I don't get to keep it. I don't get gear for free, but I do get to borrow a lot. I get things quite early to train up on myself so I can help explain it to other people. And I do get a discount on gear. Like I said, I don't get gear for free. I'm still buying it. And when if there's an average price and then I get a discounted price, it's still a sense of scale. Like I still see certain items as costing a lot more comparatively to other items from Fujifilm. And kind of once you get into the ambassador program, a lot of other brands also start to offer you pretty competitive prices as well to try and get you to switch. So yes, life photographically is a bit cheaper for me, but in that sense of scale, things still have like an average percentage markup. As far as what's in it for them, photos. They definitely, I encourage it. I supply them with photos. They always ask for permission and what they're going to use the photos for different forms of advertising. They want to promote their images, their camera gear, and that exchange is discounts of gear. The other big part is someone to do their workshops to present for them. See, a lot of the people that I interact with aren't photographers at Fujifilm. They are salespeople. Some of them are photographers. There's definitely a lot of skill there, but a lot of it is still business side of it as far as managing accounts and stock levels, etc. And so they don't want to try and fluff their way through it to try and, for lack of a better word, bullshit to a presentation. It comes across. It just wouldn't work to have someone that's actually an expert in a certain field explain something that, and say, an account manager cannot. So that's quite often where I come in. So they do fly me around the country. They do pay me to do odd videos, but I've always tagged them as paid promotion. But it's very much a give and a take. It goes both ways. They want something from them. This is a business relationship, and sometimes it's paid, sometimes it is just in the form of discounts. But at the same time, they would like to use my images to promote their gear. But as a good photographic company is, as far as their rights of usage go with my gear, they are awesomely considerate. Even if they want to have another brand use it to promote it, they will always ask me first to double check. So this is once again for just Fujifilm New Zealand, but that relationship as far as usage of my photos goes, I consider as very kind and polite. They don't ask for much. I think I definitely ask far more of them. And everything they ask me to do is paid for. So it is definitely more in my favor as far as that relationship goes. What are the disadvantages to me? I do have to turn down the odd bit of work for other brands. So this doesn't happen too much, I think, because they know they assume I'm quite Fuji biased. But I do get requests from other brands to do certain content, and then I'd be happy to do it, but then when I point out, look, be aware that this is going to be all shot on Fujifilm gear and I am an ambassador for Fujifilm, once or twice I have had a brand go, oh, that's a good point, maybe we won't do that. And normally that happens at the early initial idea phase of a conversation rather than far down the line, but those conversations have stopped quite abruptly with other brands, competition brands, once my Fuji relationship has been made clear. But the big question, I guess, and to really sum it up, is how do you become a Fujifilm ambassador? Like, just to really simplify that down, what would you have to do to become one? And in the end, the biggest question you have to ask is, what do you have to offer Fujifilm? See, I hear about quite a few photographers asking for free gear. It's like, hey, I'm doing this trip, or I've got this large amount of social media following. Can I have some free camera gear to help promote you guys, to help promote Fujifilm? And while I've heard that has happened once or twice in the past, as far as I'm aware, that relationship, that kind of offer is very much on the decline as things are getting tighter and tighter as far as COVID, and just, I wouldn't be surprised if so many people borrow the gear, use it for a little while, do like a couple of dozen posts on it, and then sell the gear to make some money, and they kind of just cycle through different camera brands more in a profitable sense rather than because they love it. And if you want to get into the Fuji ambassador system, you do need to love it. You do need to love using the gear. It definitely makes it a lot easier. You can either have, like I said, a big social media presence or the ability to talk and present. Some way of money. Let's really simplify this right down, actually. I'm very confident if you have a way to offer to Fujifilm to consistently and repetitively make them money in a way, in a presentable way. Oh man. In a presentable way that Fujifilm will like as a face to them, but it's something that will result in sales, I think there's a chance it could happen. I think also a big part is if they've already got ex-ambassadors covered in a large area that you, especially in your country, in a large area that you are specialising in, like I said, if they've got lots of landscape photographers and you want to get in as a landscape photographer, that can be a bit tricky. But you kind of need to, I think, start that relationship already. As in say, hey, look, I'm doing this presentation or I made this video, and just let them know that you'll talking the good talk before they've started paying you to do it. Do it because you love it. Thank you very much for everyone that asked the questions. Hopefully I've answered them all clear enough for you. It was a little bit of an interesting topic to get through. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer in this video, please feel free to ask down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them for you relating to that Fujifilm Ambassador Program relationship. Actually, you can ask any question you like, it's fine. But otherwise, guys, if you could like, share and subscribe, it would mean the world to me. But until next time, I'll catch you next time.